Hello, 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 sellers. Come on in. Come on in. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling on eBay. Come on in. We're going to be doing two, two super tips that will revive your sales when it slows down. It's like, everybody else seems to be getting sales. I'm not getting sales. So I've got two tips for you. These work year round. I am wearing my Santa hat. So it's definitely got some holiday theme, but these two tips work year round. And I'm actually going to throw in a third tip. I'm going to give you a bonus tip. So come on in. These tips work in all of the different eBay categories. And that's one thing to remember is how broad um, the catalog is on eBay. I mean, you can literally sell soup to nuts. And I'm saying that because so many of my sellers, and welcome, whether you're watching me on my Facebook business page, welcome. On my YouTube channel, Kathy Terrell, I love to be selling. Or if you're downloading my podcast, and if you are, thank you, Kathy Terrell, I love to be selling. But I bring this up because sometimes you'll listen to tips, and they're really good for people that sell pet products, or people that sell eBay motors, or people that sell clothing, or people that shop at the Goodwill bins. But they're not tips that are really applicable across the board. So I really endeavor to do is to pick things that'll work, whether you're selling pet products, home decor, vintage, modern, things that are useful across the board. Also things that are good with and without an eBay store. And if I do tips that are good for an eBay store, things like promotions and coupons and sale events, which I love, I do my very best to include tips that'll be good for you if you don't have an eBay store. And just for you to know, I sold very successfully on eBay for years before I got an eBay store, before I grew and scaled my eBay. Okay, so let's talk about these tips that'll work when things slow down. So I wanted to bring up something. If you're not aware of it, there's a term in retail, and I worked in brick and mortar retail for years doing merchandising and displays at stores like Macy's and Bloomingdale's, Crate and Barrel, is when you have a physical store. And those of you that run pop-ups or in an antique mall, I'm sure you're going to be familiar with this term, but they talk about foot traffic. And it's not a term I hear eBay sellers talking about, and it's one that you sort of want to like put in your knowledge bank is foot traffic. So foot traffic, when you have a physical store, when you're a Macy's, when you're a Bloomingdale's, when you have a pop-up event, is how many people go by that area, go by that block, are on that mall. Like in the pop-up stores, or if you're in a mall, like how many people are going into that mall on an hourly basis, daily basis, weekly basis. It's how they calculate typically the rents. So if it's an area that gets more foot traffic, for instance, like in a place where you're renting a booth. So the booths, for instance, that would be more towards the front, or perhaps more towards the cash register because people are online and they're going to be looking at your items, are going to cost more than ones that are in the back. Also, if it's larger, just like having a storage unit, if it's a larger store, it's going to cost you more than a smaller one. And you need to think about that with eBay. So for instance, when I worked at Macy's, and Bloomingdale's did very similar things. And if you are around brick and mortars, you'll watch them do this because they all do it, which is they're all after increasing their foot traffic, how to get people into the store. You want to get people into the store. And you can use this tactic even when you don't have an eBay store, which is how do I get people to my listings? Okay. People are on the internet. They're on eBay. How do I get them to my listings, my store? Also, the other thing is once they're looking at your listings, or they're in your store or browsing your listings if you don't have a store, how do I keep them there so they don't, what they call bounce out, so they don't leave and go somewhere else? So that's what we're going to be talking about. So for instance, like with Macy's and other retailers, and you'll see this a lot right now with the holidays, they do doorbusters. They do specials. eBay does daily deals. So you do a killer price on something that's very popular, and it's to get them into your listings. It's to get them to walk into Macy's, into Bloomingdale's, into Target, into Walmart, is that you have a deal on the item that gets the person to come into the store to look for that deal. Typically, wherever the deal is, and I remember Macy's used to do this, they make you walk through a certain amount of the department before you get to the deal. Also, wherever the deal is, it's going to be surrounded by things that are also good value, but not as good a deal as the thing that's the deal. So the idea is to get you in, to get you to where the deal is, and to surround the deal area with other things related that you might like. Okay, so the idea is to get you to buy and to buy more. So how do I do that as an eBay seller? How do I get people to my listings, to my store, and then how do I keep them there? And when I look at and we're going to deal with this when things are slow. So when things are slow, it's like I'm not even getting them in the door. It's like get them in the door. And that's why I brought up the doorbuster and the deals. Because I'll hear people say, well, I only want to sell things with a certain margin. I only want to sell things if I'm going to make $30 or $40 or $20 or 30% margins, whatever it is. And that's great. We definitely want to make money. There's sellers that are selling like to declutter, and it's like, I just want to get this stuff out of here, so they may not be so concerned about margins. But for most of us, we're definitely keeping an eye on, how much I'm making per item, because I got to look at, it's taking me time. It's taking me time to perhaps clean the item, photograph the item, source the item, and then it's going to take me time to pack the item, ship the item. So I want to make sure it's worth my while. But, and this is what I wanted to bring up, I also want to get traffic. When your sales are slow, okay, like let's say typically you sell 3 a day, all of a sudden you're 1 a day or none a day. Typically you sell 5 or 6 a week, all of a sudden you're down to 1 a week. You typically sell 10 a day, yay, 20 a day, and you're like down to 2. You're like, this is not good. Is put on your hat, put on your seller hat, and think retail, think foot traffic. How do I get people to my listings? And some of that can be, for instance, like with Macy's and Target, is offering a killer deal. And this is where you look at, do you have things that you've had listed for a very long time? Okay, over a year, maybe over 2 years. And can you reduce the price on those things? Did you get some things for free, especially if you're sourcing like flea markets, thrift stores? But it can also be personal possessions, like you've had it for so long you don't even remember how much you paid for it or whether it was a gift or not. So you can afford to heavily discount certain things like 40% discount, 50% discount, or throw it into an auction and see if that brings you traffic. But you can afford to heavily discount 3 or 4 items, 5 or 6 items, 1 or 2 items. Why? Because you're pulling a Macy's, you're pulling a Target, you're doing a daily deal. You're offering them a deal to get them to your listings. This is particularly helpful. So for instance, I've got my little snowman here. So let's say I have a bunch of Christmas home decor. It's 2 weeks till Christmas. It's like, I want the stuff to sell. Yes, Christmas sells year round. Yes, I can list my Christmas home decor. Some of it will sell in January and February and March, and it sells year round. But I want to sell some now. So let's say I want to sell my Christmas decor now. And let's say I have 10 or 15 pieces of Christmas decor. I have stockings, I've got some ornaments, I've got some cute little snowmen. So what I do is typically, because again, think of the doorbuster, you want to pick something that has really good keywords. This is good. This is snowman, okay? Cute. It is cute. But snowman, home decor. He's got earmuffs. I mean, these are things that are recognizable. Scarf. He's got a snowflake tummy, okay? But snowman is very searched on eBay. So snowman home decor. This is also what I would say stocking stuffer if I've got room in the title. So if I have 10 or 15 items, maybe I've got a Christmas tree, I've got an ornament, I've got a couple of cute snowmen. And if I've got a couple, maybe I'm going to put them into a lot, which I think is great. Maybe I've got a snowman, maybe I've got a smaller snowman and a bigger snowman, maybe I have a snowflake. Do it as a home decor lot, right? And get it sold, because these are little. This isn't going to be heavy. But give them a deal. Give them a deal. It gets them in. It gets them in. Not necessarily on every item, unless that is your business model. If you're a business model, and I've seen some stores that are like that, everything is like, $12.99 free shipping, $14.99. Everything is very, very low cost. That's their business model. They're probably paying pennies for that. Or for some people is they literally have stuff donated to them, given to them by friends and family. It's costing them nothing, so they can afford to sell for very low prices. Okay, they're looking for volume. They're looking to sell a lot, rather than just sell a few things and make higher margins. But if you, all of a sudden your sales die, which happens, gets really, really slow, think foot traffic. What can I do to get more people to look at my stuff? And one way is to offer them a deal. Go and grab things that you can afford to mark down really, really low. Okay, if you've got a store, you could do a sale, you could do a coupon. And if you don't have a store, you could run an auction and start at a relatively low price. Remember, when you're pricing for auctions, low prices, so that if you only get one bid, you still do okay. So that is my first tip for you. When things are super, super slow, look at what can I make a doorbuster out of, and try and do something where you have several of the items. So if I have like a bunch of women's tops, I pick one or two of them, I might put them in auction, or I might do like a killer price on them. And then the other ones are more full price. You'll see Macy's do this, right? So this Christmas sweater is really marked down, but then I have these other really nice Christmas sweaters that are a little bit more. So maybe you come in on the markdown one that's marked down to like $12.99, $14.99. But I have these for $24.99, $29.99, and the $12.99, the $11.99 will sell your higher ticket items because they come at one and then they look at the other one. Okay, remember, the idea is foot traffic. The idea is to get people in, to get people in, to get people in. And then the other thing is to keep your eye on trends. And the eBay advertising blog is super on this. I'm giving you, this is one of my favorite tips. So if you go to, now I got to find it because I opened it up. So hang on a second. If you go to the eBay advertising blog, they do some great trend stuff. And this can be really helpful, happy too. Really helpful. Hang on a second. eBay advertising blog. It's giving me stuff on promoted listings, and I want the blog. Okay, blog, eBay ads. Okay. I'm going to make sure I'm going to the right place. Okay. Yes, this is it. Okay, good. Hang on a second. This is going to be a little short too because I'm losing my voice. So go to eBay advertising blog is what you're going for. Okay, hang on a second. Here we go. And this is what it's going to look like. Okay. And what you're looking for is insights. Definitely look at the other stuff. But they do a really good job because they have a ton of data. Okay. Scroll down, and I'm hoping they do this for 2025. But what you want to look for is the 2024 marketing trends calendar, because I'm going to bet my bottom dollar that a lot of these trends are also going to be applicable for 2025. When you click that, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Sing it. Is this it? No. This is it. Okay. This is what it looks like. And this is what it was for 2024. And this is why I want to show you this. I was surprised by this. Look at this. January, February, March. Let me make sure you're seeing this. Yes, good. Okay. January, February, March. Brooches. Right? I was like, get out of here. Brooches and pins go up by 30%. And that was true in 2024. And I'll bet you anything, it's also going to be true for now. People love brooches and pins. Brooches and pins actually sell right now, too, for the holidays. And get this, guys are wearing brooches. I see it a lot, particularly for weddings. A lot of the groomsmen, you'll see really, really pretty brooches. Get out of here. Brooches tend to have great keywords, right? Because it's animals, it's colors, it's shapes, it's all kinds of things. So when you're outsourcing, because this is something you can source retail arbitrage, like I could be at Macy's and see really cool brooches and pins that are on sale and grab them, right? It's something you can pick up at estate sales. It's something you can pick up at thrift stores. One of my good friends loves vintage brooches. Actually, I have several friends that love vintage brooches and pins. You're looking for really, really cool shapes, colors. Don't forget animals, because people will search for the breed of their animal, both cat and dog. So when you're sourcing it in a particular, don't just do dog pin, cat pin. Try and identify the breed, because that's going to help you a lot. But look at this, brooches and pins. Isn't that cool? I never would have thought of that, right? And then they also tell you like SIM cards, cables, flash drives, if you're selling electronics or you have access to electronics. but it does let me know that like heavy duty adapter cords are something to look out for. Okay. And definitely check prices, check what you're paying. But I loved brooches and pins. Isn't that cool? So for right now, definitely take a look at your inventory, see what you could feature, like as a super deal, like do your daily deal, do your featured auction, do your super sale, like what can you mark down, and do a super deal because people are definitely looking for deals. So what can I do? Perhaps grouping some things. And then the second thing is go to the eBay ads at eBay advertising blog. That's what you want. Okay. eBay advertising blog and take a look at their trends. But I love the brooches and pins. Definitely keep an eye out for them. And again, they're really good this time of year. And then my third super duper tip for you is hop over to my website. I love to be selling and grab my top eBay holiday sales and social media tips because this will really, really help you. It's 2 weeks to go. Pedal to the metal. This is where we're going to make our sales because there's still plenty of time to ship and get it to people in time for the holidays. And the social media can help. And a little bit can really, really, really help you because social media is where your shoppers are. Yes, they're on eBay, but they're also on Facebook and Instagram and X and Pinterest. And a little bit of sharing, it literally only has to take a couple minutes a day, can really help you get traffic. Remember, what are you after? Foot traffic, right? Like the retail stores. What are they after? Foot traffic. Because I got to get them in the door to sell to them. And really offering people a great deal and then being ahead of the game with the trends, like knowing that brooches and stuff get hot in January. They're also very popular now. Is a great thing to keep an eye out because I can source that no matter how I'm sourcing. And then take a look at my holiday sales tips. I've got some really great ones. This is free. It's my gift to you with all my retail knowledge for you and social media tips. Okay? And let me know which tip you like the best. Great. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling on eBay. Bye-bye, everybody.